Hey everybody, today we're going to go over the quiz review for two of the con quizzes. One of the con quizzes is called Solving Equations with One Unknown, and the other one's called Equations and Functions. Linear Equations and Functions quiz. So these are both quiz ones. So I want to go over some of these hard problems from these topics and see if this helps you guys understand some of the processes a little better. So first things first, if you've got decimals and you want to get rid of them, you can multiply by something that's going to get rid of all the decimals. So I see 75 hundredths here. I see 1.25, which is 1 25 hundredths. If I multiply the entire equation by 100, it's going to get rid of the decimals. So what we'll see here is we get 75 times 8 plus e, because just that 75 hundredths gets multiplied. This is all one term. So that one term gets multiplied by the 100. So it's really just 100 times 0.75, then times the quantity of 8 plus e. That's just going to be 75 times the quantity of 8 plus e is equal to, and then over here we're going to get 200 because 100 times 2 is 200. And then 100 times negative 1.25e is negative 125e. All right, now ultimately at this point, the next thing you would do is you would distribute. So 75 times 8, and then 75 times e. So 75 times 8 is going to be just 75 times 8. Let's do a little math real quick. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 7 is going to be 56, plus 4 is 60. So you're looking at 600 there. So that's 600 plus 75e is equal to 200 minus 125e. And now you want to get all of your e's to one side. So I think it makes sense to add the 125e to both sides. And so if you're going to add 125e to both sides, it makes sense at that time to move the numbers the other way. So you're going to minus 600 to both sides. And you end up with 200e is equal to negative 400. And then you want to solve for e. So you're going to undo times by 200. So you're going to divide by 200 both sides. And you're going to get that e is equal to negative 400 over 200, which is basically negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2. Now, once you get that value, you're going to want to check to see if it's right. All right, so when we plug it back in here, you'll see that this is the same as 0.75 times 6, because 8 take away 2 is 6. So 75 cents times 6 is worth what? Well, 2 75 cents is $1.50. So 4 would be $3 and 6 would be $4.50. Excuse me, bless me. So this is going to be $4.50 or 4.5 if you're thinking about it numerically. And so this one over here is going to be negative 2 times negative 1.25, which will be positive 2.5. And 2 plus 2.5 is also 4.5. So we can see that the answer does in fact work, and we verified that it is correct. Okay, so remember, to check your answer, you just take the value of the variable, plug it back into the original equation, and see if it gives you a true statement. Okay, for the next one, we're going to solve this next one by getting rid of the fractions. So what can you multiply this whole thing by to get rid of the fractions? Well, you can multiply the whole thing by 4. So if you multiply the entire thing by 4, it's going to get rid of the fourths. So 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times negative 2s is negative 8s. 4 goes into 4 one time. So 1 times 3s is just 3s. And then 4 times 13 is 4 times 10 plus 4 times 3, which is 40 plus 12, or 52. So this is going to be basically what we get. 8 take away 8s equals 3s plus 52. You're going to then want to get all of your s's to one side. So you're going to add 8 s's to both sides. And if you're going to bring the variables to the right, you want to bring the numbers the other way. So you're going to undo plus 52. So you're going to minus 52 to both sides. And what you get here is this is a 0 pair. And over on the right-hand side, you end up with 11 s's. And the numerical value here is 8 take away 52, which basically means the negative is going to win by how much. And 52 take away 8 is going to be 50 take away 6, which is going to be 44. So you get negative 44 is equal to 11s. And then you want to undo times by 11, because you don't want the value of 11 s's, you want the value of 1s. So it's going to be negative 4 is equal to s. And that's your answer. You could check it by plugging the negative 4 back in, but I'm not going to do that right now. All right, so let's take a look at the next one here. So we have 0.5 and 0.5. So it looks like we can get rid of all those 0.5s by just doubling everything. You could times by 10, or you can just double everything. Doubling a half gives you a whole. So 2 times 4.5 is going to be 9. 2 times 1.5k is going to be 3k. And then 2 times 18 is going to be 36. And 2 times a negative 3k is negative 6k. Once you've done that, you're going to get all the k's to one side, all the numbers to the other. So I would add 6k to both sides, and I would take away 9 from both sides. You're going to end up with 9k is equal to 36 take away 9, which is going to be 27. And then you're going to divide both sides by 9 because you want the value of 1k, not 9k. So you're going to get k is equal to 27 divided by 9, which is 3. My head sometimes goes to the answer, so apologize for that. All right, so once you get the answer, you could plug it back in and see if you get a true statement. 4.5 plus 1.5 times 3, which is 4.5, is 9. And then minus 3 times 3 is 9. So this is going to be 18 minus 9. And so we can see that 9 is equal to 9. It works. This one I can verify quickly mentally, so I just did. Let's go and take a look at the next one. All right, so on this one here, you've got a 0.5. If you don't like the 0.5 and you want to get rid of it, all you got to do is multiply the whole thing by 10. But remember, what you're doing is you're multiplying all the terms by 10. So let me refresh you guys on what that means. So that's this. Let's do something different than purple. So that's the 3 is one term, and then this whole value here is one term, right? This 0.5 times the quantity of 4a plus 8. And then over here you got one term and another term right there. So you're going to multiply through by that 10 to get an equivalent equation that you can solve a little more easily. So 10 times 3 is going to be 30. 10 times 0.5 is half of 10, which is 5. The quantity inside the parentheses is just a factor that stays the same, because really you have 10 times 0.5 times this value. And then you have over on the other side 10 times 9, which is 90, and 10 times negative 2a, which is negative 18a's. Okay, now you can distribute. So what I would do next is I would distribute through the parentheses. We can see that this is 30 plus 20a, because 5 times 4a is 20a, and 5 times 8 is 40, so plus 40 is equal to 90 minus 18a's. And then you're going to want to combine like terms. So you've got 30 and 40 that can be combined. So you get 20a plus 70 is equal to 90 minus 18a. And then you want to get all your a's to one side and all your numbers to the other. So how do you undo minus 18a? You add 18a to both sides. If you're going to add 18a to both sides, you're going to want to get the numbers the other direction. So you're going to want minus 70 to both sides. You're going to get 20 plus 18, or 38 a's, is equal to 90 take away 70, which is 20. And then you're going to divide both sides by 38. I'm going to do that in a different color to help you guys out. Divide both sides by 38, so you get the value of 1a. And so 1a is equal to 20 38ths, which is the same as 10 and 15 and 4, so 10 19ths. And that would be your answer. That's a little harder to plug in and check, so I'm not going to do that at the moment. Hey guys, looking back over this one, I don't remember how I made it even. I made a silly mistake. So I multiply everything by 10, right? So 10 times 3 is 30, 10 times 0.5 is 5, and then 10 times 9 is 90. How is 10 times negative 2a negative 18? I don't really know what I did there. So 10 times negative 2a is going to be negative 20a. And then everything else should work out just fine. So let me kind of go back in time now and fix this so that we've got this answer right. So I went back and I just plugged in the value and it didn't work. And so then once I realized I made a mistake, I would look for my mistake and I saw it. And that was the error that I made, right? So this is kind of highlighting the key importance of actually checking your work, right? So when I got the answer, I was like, oh, plug it back in and see if it works. It didn't work. So I know I got to fix it, right? So let's go back and see what happened here. So 90 minus 20a, that's going to be 90 minus 20a. So that's going to be in green now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to combine our like terms. So we said that 30 plus 40 is 70. So you got 70 plus the 20a is equal to 90 minus the 20a. And then you're going to want to get all your numbers to one side, all your letters to the other side. So let's let's just kind of move the negative 28 to the left-hand side, so plus 28 to both sides. And if you're going to bring the 28 to the left, bring the numbers to the right, so minus 70 to both sides. And you're going to get 40a is equal to 90 minus 70, which is 20. Then you're going to divide both sides by 40, and you're going to get the answer that a is equal to 20 over 40, or 1/2. So the correct answer is that a is a half. And let's just see if this works. So 4 times a half is 2. 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 times 0.5 is 5. And 5 plus 3 is 8. So this would have a value of 8 on the left. And then over here, negative 2 times a half is negative 1. And 9 minus 1 is also 8. So we can see that not 8 does equal 8. We've checked it. And we know that this solution works. Okay. So just make sure you always check your answer, because if it doesn't look right, doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. Let's do the next one. So in this next one, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the entire equation by 2, get rid of those halves. So 2 times 6d is going to be 12d. 2 times negative 11 halves is just negative 11. 2 times 2d is 4d. And 2 times negative 13 halves is just going to have the 2's cancel out, so it's just negative 13. Then you're going to want to get all of your d's to one side, so minus 4d to both sides. Or you want to get all your d's to one side, all your numbers to the other. So let's get rid of this minus 11. Let's add 11 to both sides. And you're going to end up with 8d is equal to negative 13 plus 11, which is negative 2. Now you're going to want to undo times by 8, because you want the value of 8d's, you want the value of 1d. You divide by 8 both sides, you get d is equal to negative 2/8, which is the same as negative 1/4. And that is the correct answer. Okay. I'll just check it real quick, and then I'll move on. All right, so I checked the last one. It worked fine. Let's go on to the next one. So on this one here, you're going to use nothing to multiply by, because you're going to multiply by 4. And when you multiply by 4 through the parentheses, this 0.5 is going to go away anyways. So there's no need to do that. So you can just multiply through and distribute. And you're going to get 4 times 1 is 4. And 4 times 0.5 is going to be 4 times 0.5 is only half of 4, which is 2. So we have 2m, and that's equal to 7m. And then you want to get all your m's to one side. So how do you undo plus 2m minus 2m? Not to one side, but to both sides. You get 4 is equal to 5m. And then how do you solve? You want to get m by itself. How do you undo times by 5? Divide by 5 both sides. And so we can see that m is equal to 4/5. Okay? And when you check this answer, it should work. Let's see if it does. So it's pretty easy to plug in. So a half times 4/5 is going to be 4/10. And then 1 plus 4/10 is 1 4/10, which is the same as 1 4/10 is the same as, how many tenths would that be? 14 tenths. And so 14 tenths times 4 would be 14 times 4, which is 40 plus 16, so 56 tenths, so 5.6. So I would think that this is in my head 5.6. And then over here on this side, you got 4/5 of 7 here. So it's going to be 28/5, which is going to be double top and bottom to get tenths. So 28 times 2 is 56, so 56 tenths, which is also 5.6. So yeah, that works just fine. Okay, so the answer is 4/5 for this one. So m equals 4/5. So now that we've done it carefully, we checked our answers, we know that all these are correct, and you've seen the process by which you can go through for all these. Now, does it mean it's the only way to do the problem? No. When you solve equations, there's choices. Like over here, you could have just not multiplied by 10. When you multiply by 0.5 through the parentheses, you're going to get rid of the decimal anyways, because 0.5 times 4 is 2a, and 0.5 times 8 is 4. So you could have just done this without having to multiply the whole thing by 10. But if you did, it's fine too, right? So however you like to do the problems, if you want to get rid of the fractions and decimals, just make sure you multiply the entire equation by whatever value you think is going to get rid of all your fractions and decimals on all the terms. All right, let's move on to the next problem, which is going to be on the other quiz that you guys had to review, which is linear equations and functions quiz. Now, this one's actually pretty simple. They're giving you an ordered pair, something x, and with a y value of 0. They're asking you what is the ordered pair that works with this particular equation to generate this ordered pair solution, right? So all you have to do is just figure out what is the x value when y is 0. So this is x comma y. They're really just asking you what is the x value when y is 0. And so you just replace the y with 0 and solve for x. So 2x plus 3 times 0 equals 5x minus 0. And then just solve for x. So you get 2x is equal to 5x because 3 times 0 is 0, and minus 0 is 0 with nothing, it's 0. And then you're just going to want to get all your x's to one side. So you're going to want to, let's say, minus 5x to both sides. And you're going to get negative 3x is equal to nothing. And if negative 3x is nothing, then when we divide by negative 3 to get the value of 1x, you see that's also worth nothing. So what is the value of x? 0. So if you plug in a 0 for x and a 0 for y, this should be a true statement, and it is. 0, 0, 0, 0. It's all going to go away, and you get 0, 0. On this one here, they're saying what is the value of y this time when x is 3, right? So you've got x, y order pair. What is the value of y when x is 3? Just replace x with 3 and solve for y. Y is equal to 4 times the quantity of x minus 9. Y is equal to 4 times 3, which is 12, minus 9. Y is equal to 12 minus 9, which is 3. So that means the y is going to be 3, which means the order pair is 3, 3. So when you plug in a 3 for x, you should get a 3 for y. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 9 is 3. Yeah, when you plug in a 3 for x, you get a 3 for y. On this next one here, it says they give you a proportional table, and they ask you what is the slope, what is the equation, and how do you graph it, and it says to plot the 2 points. Well, the easiest way to do that is to recognize that, first of all, any proportional relationship has one order pair. That's going to be 0, 0. That's easy enough. The other easy order pair is going to be something you got to investigate a little bit. You know the slope is always the ratio in a proportional relationship of y over x. So in this case, it would be 1 over 0.3. Now, what I like to do is just get rid of the decimal, so multiply top and bottom by 10. So that would be 10 over 3. So when y is 10, x is 3. In other words, the order pair 3 comma 10 is on this particular relationship, right? When y is 10, x is 3. So we know that's another order pair here, 3, 10. We know that the slope is going to be the ratio of y over x, which is 10 thirds. So that is the slope, 10 thirds. And the equation for this one is going to be y equals the slope, 10 thirds times x. And that's kind of how it works, right? When we go to the next one here, you're going to figure out what the solution is for y when x is 5. So we know that this is x comma y. When x is, negative 5. When x is negative 5, what is the value of y? So you're going to replace the x with negative 5. So negative 3 times the quantity of negative 5 plus 7y equals 5 times the quantity of negative 5 plus 2y. And so now you're going to just multiply before you add. So negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15. Positive 15 plus 7y is equal to 5 times negative 5, which is negative 25, plus 2y. You're going to want to get all your y's to one side, all your numbers to the other. So minus 2y to both sides. Get all your y's to the left. You're going to bring the y's to the left. You want to bring the numbers the other way. So minus 15 to both sides. And what you'll see here is you get 5y is equal to negative 40. And then you want to divide both sides by 5 to get the value of 1y, not 5 y's. And so y is equal to negative 8. So the correct solution here is y is negative 8. So the order pair negative 5, negative 8 is on that line. For the next one, they want you to figure out what the y value is when x is negative 5 again. So we're going to replace x with negative 5. So you get negative 5, quantity of x, minus 5y is equal to negative 15. Now you want to get the value of y by itself, so we get rid of this minus 5. So you add 5 to both sides. You're going to get negative 5y equals negative 15 plus 5, which is negative 10. Then you want to undo times by negative 5, divide by negative 5 both sides. And you're going to get y equals negative 10 divided by negative 5, which is positive 2. So what that means is that when x is negative 5, y is 2, and that order pair is a solution to this function, or in other words, a point on the line. And then for the last one here, you're going to have an x value unknown and a y value of negative 2. So all you're going to do is replace the y's with negative 2 and solve for x. So you get negative 2 plus 2 is equal to negative 3 times the quantity of, negative 2 plus 2 is equal to negative 3 times the quantity of x minus 4. Now we don't know what x is, but we know the y is negative 2. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to distribute that -3 through the parentheses. So when you distribute the -3 through the parentheses, you get -2 plus 2, which is really just 0, right? 0 is equal to -3x, and then that's a -3 times x is -3x. And then -3 times -4 is +12. Well, we don't want the x's and numbers on the same side, so we want to get rid of those +12s and -12 to both sides. And then you're going to get -12 is equal to -3x. You don't want the value of -3x, you want the value of 1x, so you're going to divide both sides by -3, and you're going to get the value of x, which is 4. And that's how you do that problem. So basically what you guys are seeing is the process that you would use to solve these more challenging problems from the last 2 quizzes on Khan. If you feel like this benefited you and you are able to do the quizzes again, you're welcome to retake them in my class for a better score. And that's it. Hope that helped.